Hello and welcome to this month's e-commerce network meeting that we are hosting together with the Swedish Chamber of Commerce in China. My name is Helena and I'm from Empress Consulting, and with me I have
Simon Kai, and I'm from Triple Digits.
And the topic of this month will be live streaming. Welcome. So we will go through different parts of live streaming today. We will start to look a little bit about the updates from the industry, what are the latest numbers, some general info to understand how live streaming works in China. We're also looking into the hottest platforms at the moment, even the top live streamers. And then we will look a little bit into the future of virtual influencers and then some case sharing. So what we can see from the past 5 years is that the users of live streaming in China has increased a lot. And the biggest growth was between 2019 and 2020 when the pandemic hit China. But we can see even in the past years that there is an improving growth for the users. So we can see that 727 million people are watching live streamers, which is a big part of total netizens in China. We can also see that the live streaming e-commerce sales has been growing a lot in the past years, and even expecting to reach really high levels this year, 2023. We can also see that live streaming e-commerce being a part of total e-commerce is growing a lot in China, and it's expected to do so also in the future. And who's watching live streaming in China? We can see it's 68% of total internet users, which is a big amount. And I don't know, Simon, do you think we can see this in any other country, or is China unique?
I think it's quite unique actually, because actually recently, both Instagram and also Facebook, they stopped with their live streaming services, right? So I think it's very unique for China, the habit of watching live streaming.
Yeah, and we see it keeps growing. Currently, it's a lot of millennials and Gen Z watching live streamers, but I think we also see the older population also starting to get into it. It's a dominance of female audience, but also a big part of men. And we will also look a little bit at this later on different platforms, have different focuses as well. And why people are watching live streaming, I think one important part is they think it's very authentic, because you see the product in real, so to say. It's not like product pages or polished videos. This is, in real time. Also, a lot of people watching KOLs and KOCs, like influencers, presenting the products. So they also have a lot of trust for these people. And the third part, which is a very important part of live streaming, is it's very entertaining as well. So it's not just like looking at the product page. It's a lot of things happening at the same time. And Simon, what did we see from last year? Which was the top sold products from live streaming?
Yeah, so usually every year the Double 11, which is China's biggest sales campaign, is where the most of the sales of live streaming is happening. And as we can see from this ranking, the women's products are the most sold. So you have the fashion product, beauty, and the jewelry. But as you mentioned, Helena, also lifestyle products such as food and consumer electronic, etc. Basically, everything nowadays can be bought on live streaming, and the people do it because they get a very steep discount, and it's a proven way to get the products fast also.
Yeah. So characteristics of live streaming in China, you were saying, Simon, steep discounts. So it's very discount driven. It's important to attract people, but again, it's also very entertaining. There's a lot of talking, loud voices, I would say, and the viewers can also participate. Like you can chat. If someone buys something, you can see that too. If someone put in the shopping cart as well. So it's also a little bit of getting some peer pressure as well. Someone is putting in the product into the cart, maybe you will do it as well. They will also give out a lot of coupons that you can use for the live streaming, but also in the stores from the brands. It can also be very educational. Yeah. Sorry, you want to say something, Simon?
No. I totally agree with you.
Okay. And they can also be educational. So people watch live streaming to actually learn something new about a product, maybe about a brand or um, other general information. And no loyalty. What does that mean, Simon?
Well, no loyalty means that the consumers, right? They simply go to the streamer that has the biggest discount. So
Mm,
what happens nowadays in China is that every big streamer they will
mm,
negotiate a discount with the brand.
mm-hmm,
Most often, the biggest streamers will get the steepest discount, and that is also
mm,
why they have so much viewers because the
mm,
viewers know that if I want to buy a particular product, I usually get the biggest discount with the biggest streamer. So that's sort of
yeah,
like an ongoing trend.
yeah.
And obviously, when you have these entertaining people, right,
Mm,
showing off the different products, it's also about like you have something to do on the way back from work, right? So it's very
yeah,
very fun and also interesting to watch.
yeah. If you want to, yeah, that the time goes a little bit faster, you can watch live streaming. They're always there.
Yeah.
Mm. But okay, so it's a lot of discounts and so on. Do brands have to do this? Because a lot of brands maybe feel like it will sort of maybe affect the brand image in a negative way.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, Helena. I think the live streaming is a very short-term thinking, right? From the brand side,
Mm,
I want to
mm,
get rid of my stock,
mm,
or
okay.
it can also be a way for you to reach out to as many new potential customers as
Mm,
easily as possible because they
mm,
watch the live streamer, right? It's the fans, so they get exposure to the brand. So that is
mm.
also a reason why many brands do it, even though they might have very low margin on the sell.
Yeah. So one thing is to get rid of inventory maybe, or to create some brand awareness in the market for
Exactly.
long-term establishment. Okay, great. And there are different way of live streaming. You can do it, in your offline store. You can do it in your office or factory, or you can use, a professional studio. Simon, you have a TP. You're a Tmall partner, which means you're running the e-commerce stores, right? And I also heard you have some live streaming services now. How does that work?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Basically nowadays, all brands will need to do some sort of live streaming.
Mm,
Basically, we have two type of live streaming that's most common. One is
mm,
we call it daily streams. So if you have a Tmall official store, then you can, every day stream a couple of hours, basically
mm,
introducing the brand story and also some of your key products. And that is
mm,
usually done in a studio. So in our
mm,
case, we have our own studio with our own
mm,
uh, sort of live streamers, right? So then they
mm,
can, present the product in the setting that they feel is suitable.
mm,
But other way to do it is when you work together with a big live streamer. Usually, that
mm.
live streamer will have several brands that they stream about, and then
Mm,
they will have
mm,
their own sort of studio where they have their own sort of theme and the style of doing it, and that is also quite common. What we
yeah.
also see for some of the brands that has China stores, right? They often
Mm,
also stream within their stores, walking
mm,
around, showing off the different products, especially for
yeah.
fashion brands. That is
Mm,
a way of giving the consumers, opportunity to see like how is the styles and how does it look, without having to visit the store, especially if you live
yeah.
in smaller cities in China.
Mm, mm, yeah. So yeah, you can be very flexible with the live streaming, which is also good. And you, like you said, you can do it on a daily basis, or you can make it maybe once a month and do it a little bit bigger and a bit more advanced, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, and there are different platforms to live stream on. We have chosen to look into a few of them. Taobao Live is the biggest one on the market, and also maybe the one that's been around the longest. it generated 3.5 trillion RMB in sales in 2022, which is hard to imagine how much that is actually. But we can also see it's been growing as well from 2021 to 2022. So even this platform being around for a long time, it just keeps boosting the sales. And a lot of active live streamers as well on the platform. So just a little bit like would like to ask you, Simon, how does this work with the live streamers? Do they belong to a certain platform, so can they have live streaming on several platforms at the same time?
Well, in general, there's no specific platform that the live streaming has to be on. Obviously, there are certain live streamers that have signed exclusive partnerships with platforms, but that is also a way for the platform to lock in the most popular ones. But that is not so often that you see that kind of setup.
Yeah. And it's International Women's Day today, so we can also see the picture here we have of Taobao Live. Then it will be, it's a shopping festival in China, so they will push a little bit extra for the live streaming here. Okay, Simon, do you want to share a little bit about this other exciting platform, TikTok of China?
Yes, certainly. So Douyin, which is the TikTok of China, is emerging as a big live streaming platform as well. So previously, if you lived in China, you know that almost all the live streaming shopping was happening on Tmall. But recent years, as the younger generation especially are watching more Douyin, right? So then also they have live streaming nowadays, and their sales are growing really, really quickly. So if you look at the numbers, 888 million active users, right? So it's a huge section of the Chinese population, and the e-commerce grew especially very fast with that 0.1 trillion in 2022, which is a tremendously fast growth. And they are taking market share from Taobao live streaming. So that's a reality.
Okay, so there's something to look out for.
Yeah.
We also have the platform Red, which is a platform where you can share shopping tips, prices, style advice, and so on. It's a little bit smaller platform. It has 200 million monthly active users. It has a lot of young females on the platform, and usually they are located in tier 1 cities. And most of their revenue is more from advertising. They have a lot of KOLs and KOCs on the platform. But we can see now that e-commerce is also increasing on this platform because you can have your own store there as well. And now they're starting to push their live streaming even more.
Helena, I want to ask you about the Red. Do you know, as a female user, like what does it appeal to you so much? I mean, why is there so many female users on Red specifically?
I think it also they have created a sort of a community feeling as well. So you're part of a community and you have these, your friends, which are, maybe these KOLs and KOCs that you're following. And they create content that is very appealing, I think, too. It's almost like looking into a magazine sometimes, and they really share, inspirational pictures and tips. I think that's really how they started off. There was tips and like showing off, and it's sort of a lifestyle that you, as a young female, maybe would like to have yourself. So that's a big reason, I think, why Red has becoming so strong among young females. But we also see now that the men is 30% now on the platform is men users, but I think that was much lower just a few years ago. So it's also increasing, which is interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we have Bilibili. Maybe not really live streaming, but yeah.
Yeah, Bilibili is sort of the YouTube of China, right? So this is a platform that has been growing very fast as well. Nowadays, around 200 million users. The specific crowd of this platform is very much the younger population of China, the Gen Zs and the 2000 millennials. There's a way of watching the movies on Bilibili that's very unique. It's called Danmu, so meaning that
Mm.
while you watch, you can also comment on specific scenes, which other people can also see when they watch. So this is, I think, a trend that is specifically interesting for younger people, right? And a way for brands maybe to see, how do people actually view your content, right? If you make a
Yeah.
commercial and maybe you get real-time feedback from the users.
Yeah, and you can see what other people feels as well. Like on YouTube, you have to scroll down to read the comments, but here the comments will be straight directly on the screen in front of you.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's very unique, I would say. Mm. Okay, and who are the top live streamers in China? Simon.
Yes, obviously, the biggest one is still Austin Lee,
Mm,
which is also called the Lipstick King. So he's
mm,
coming from a background of selling beauty products, but nowadays I think he sells basically everything. We
mm,
did mention that live streamers are having a lot of negotiation power. So he
mm,
usually gets the biggest discounts, and that's why also the people are watching his live streams because they know that
mm.
they get the best price by buying from his live stream.
Yeah, exactly. And then we can see on Douyin, we have another live streamer that which has a little bit different background than Austin. So his name is Oriental Selection, and he's been on Douyin, I think, not for so long, maybe 1 or 2 years, and he's now the number one already. And maybe his content, he used to be an English teacher, and his content
Yeah,
is maybe a little bit more like you can see is more genuine. People see him like they can connect easier with him maybe, especially if you are located in maybe smaller tier cities in China. But it's interesting to see that Taobao Live been around for a long time, and they have the Austin Lee as their number one. Very, can I say, Polish content. He can work with all the big brands as well, whereas Douyin has a totally newcomer, that is their number one live streamer. So I think that's quite interesting.
definitely.
Yeah, and then just a little trend to look out for in the future. A lot of brands already working with virtual live streamers and KOLs, influencers in China, and it's estimated to grow a lot in the whole world, but especially in China. And the good thing with this is that the influencer will be loyal, to the platform. If the platform is developing her or a brand, they can have their own influencer. And here on the picture, we can see one called Ayayi. She was founded in 2021, and she's already been working with a lot of luxury brands. So if the luxury brands are already investing in these kind of partnerships, probably something that will keep coming in the future. So keep having an eye on this.
Yeah,
And it's also just important when you do live streaming in China, make sure that you have created sort of an awareness base in China. Make sure that the customers, if they see your product on live streaming, they will probably be, if they're interested, they will start searching you, and they will not search you maybe on Google or search engines. They will search you on these different digital platforms. They will search you on WeChat, make sure you have an account there, or they will search you on Red. So make sure you have some sort of awareness base created or laid out before you do live streaming. Also, it's important that you have enough inventory. Simon, I know you have a few cases where you've been helping brands doing live streaming and they sell a lot, right? It can be not 10, 20 pieces. It can be more than 100 pieces in a live streaming. Uh, and if you don't have enough inventory, first of all, they can create trouble for you, because the platform will not be happy. They have the rules and regulations, but also the live streamer, of course, that's doing the live streaming. But you don't want to miss out on this opportunity even.
mm,
And keep trying, collect data. It doesn't mean that the first live streaming you will do, you will never have a big success. You have to find your right audience. You have to create some brand awareness, and keep trying. And then, Simon, we have before we finish, we have a little case sharing from live streaming that you will share with us.
yes. Yes, so we are helping a beauty brand. They are quite small in China at the moment, but they are
Mm,
quite famous in Europe. The
mm,
product is high end, so it's targeting a high end market.
mm,
We have been quite successful doing live streaming with them. In the beginning, we tried with a few KOLs that are more
mm,
mainstream, but
mm,
the results were very varying.
mm,
Uh,
mm,
in the end, we found a few live streamers that were really good. That their fan base was, you know, very suitable for this brand. So we did
mm,
actually do some live streams where they sold a couple hundred of their products. So
mm.
that was for them a very good success. So
Yeah.
this shows that even smaller brands that has
Mm,
low awareness in China
mm,
can succeed on live streaming because
mm,
the fans of the live streamer believes in them, right? So if the product is
yeah.
good and the live
Mm,
streamer is endorsing it, then the fans are willing
mm,
to try. So that is
yeah.
a good way, especially for beauty brands, I would say, to
Mm,
explore and also develop their brand recognition in China by working
yeah.
together with live streamers.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Okay. I think that's it for today. Thank you very much. And if you would like to join our network, you just have to be a member of the Swedish Chamber. And we will meet once a month offline, and then we also have this online recording each month. All right. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
See you
you. Have a
guys.
nice day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.